Hey there, I'm Vince.
And I'm Haze. Welcome to the Wellness Lab Digest.
This is your space for science-backed wellness made simple.
We take the latest research, break it down to empower you with practical tips to stay informed and inspired without the time commitment so you can actually use it to feel better every day.
From ancient remedies with modern impact to breakthrough studies on longevity, supplements, and mental clarity.
It's all here. Curious minds, open hearts, and real tools for transformation.
So if you're ready to grow, heal, and thrive,
go ahead and hit subscribe. Let's build your healthiest life, one episode at a time.
the wellness industry is projected to hit $7 trillion globally. But here's the shocking part. Studies show that over 80% of wellness claims on social media have zero scientific backing. Today, we're exploring how this massive disconnect between science and marketing is finally starting to change.
You know what's fascinating about those numbers? It really shows how desperately we need better ways to communicate legitimate wellness information to people who are genuinely trying to improve their health.
Well, that's exactly what makes this current moment so interesting. We're seeing this unprecedented shift where consumers are becoming more sophisticated in how they evaluate wellness claims. They're not just accepting whatever influencer recommendation pops up in their feed anymore.
That reminds me of a recent study showing that nearly 65% of millennials now fact-check health claims before trying new wellness trends. That's a huge change from just 5 years ago.
And here's what's really fascinating about that trend. It's actually forcing the industry to adapt. I was looking at some market data that shows wellness companies are now spending 3 times more on research and development than they did in 2019.
So how exactly is this changing the way wellness information gets communicated to the public?
Well, we're seeing this emergence of what you might call science-fluent wellness content. Instead of just making broad claims about health benefits, companies and content creators are now having to provide actual evidence. For example, some major wellness brands have started publishing their research protocols and raw data online.
That level of transparency must be creating some interesting challenges for the industry.
Oh, absolutely. And here's where it gets really interesting. The companies that are thriving in this new environment are the ones that have found ways to make complex scientific concepts accessible without oversimplifying them. They're using things like augmented reality to show how different wellness interventions affect the body at a cellular level.
You know what's remarkable about that approach? It's actually helping people understand the why behind wellness recommendations, not just the what.
Exactly right. And let me share something fascinating about that. Recent studies show that when people understand the mechanisms behind wellness practices, they're 72% more likely to stick with them long term. It's not just about following instructions anymore, it's about comprehension.
That makes so much sense when you think about human psychology and how we form lasting habits.
And here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. This increased focus on scientific literacy is actually changing how research institutions approach public communication. Universities are now creating specific programs focused on translational wellness research.
Could you explain what that means for someone who might not be familiar with the term?
Well, imagine it like this. Traditional research is like writing a complex technical manual, while translational research is like creating an intuitive user guide. These programs are specifically designed to take complex scientific findings and figure out how to apply them in real-world settings.
That's such a clear way to explain it. How is this affecting the actual research being conducted?
Here's what's fascinating. Researchers are now designing studies that combine traditional clinical trials with real-world applications. They're using wearable technology to track how different wellness interventions perform in people's daily lives, not just in controlled laboratory settings.
The data from that kind of research must be incredibly valuable for understanding what actually works in practice.
Exactly, and it's leading to some surprising findings. For instance, a recent study found that some wellness practices that showed promising results in lab settings were actually difficult for people to maintain in real life, which has led to new approaches in intervention design.
That really highlights the importance of considering practical implementation alongside scientific validity.
And you know what's really exciting about this? It's creating this feedback loop between researchers and practitioners. The real-world data is informing new research questions, which then leads to more practical solutions.
That kind of collaborative approach seems like it could really accelerate our understanding of effective wellness practices.
Absolutely. And here's where we're seeing the biggest impact in personalized wellness recommendations. The combination of big data analytics and real-world testing is allowing for much more nuanced, individualized approaches to wellness.
That must be quite a shift from the one-size-fits-all recommendations we used to see.
Oh, completely. And let me share something really interesting about this. Recent studies show that personalized wellness programs have a 47% higher success rate compared to generic approaches. That's because they take into account individual factors like genetics, lifestyle, and even personal preferences.
Those numbers really drive home the importance of this shift toward evidence-based personalization.
And here's what I think is most exciting about all of this. We're finally seeing a convergence of scientific rigor and practical application. It's not just about making wellness more scientific or more accessible. It's about doing both simultaneously.
That really seems like the key to moving the wellness industry forward in a meaningful way.
Looking ahead, I think we're going to see even more innovation in how wellness information is communicated and implemented. The companies and practitioners who succeed will be the ones who can maintain scientific integrity while making their insights accessible and actionable.
That's such an optimistic note to end on. The idea that good science and practical application can actually go hand in hand.
Well, that's really what it all comes down to, making evidence-based wellness practices accessible to everyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. The future of wellness isn't just about what works in theory, it's about what works in real life.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wellness Lab Digest. If this episode helped you, here are 3 quick ways to support the show. 1. Subscribe to stay updated with fresh, body-loving wellness insights. 2. Share this episode with a friend who needs this today. 3. Comment below and tell us what topics you'd love to hear next. Want to do even more? Check the video description for ways to support the show. Stay curious, stay well, and we'll see you in the next episode.